Hello dear students, today we are going to study physics, rotational dynamics, and in our previous class we studied a derivation about conical pendulum. In today's class we are going to study vertical circular motion. Remember vertical circular motion, non-uniform circular motion, because if an object comes down it will be pulled by the gravitational force, its velocity will increase, and when it goes up its velocity will decrease. So let us now start vertical circular motion. So our today's topic is vertical circular motion. Vertical circular motion. So in this topic, let us consider, this is a circle, vertical circle. Let us suppose I have a string and the string is hung by me in vertically downward direction. This is a stone. At the lowest position this is a stone, and I have tied the stone to a string. Let the radius of the string be r. R is the radius of the string, and let the mass of the stone be m. So the stone is here. Now, and let us consider in this position the stone is acted upon by gravitational force. The stone has not covered any angle. I have not revolved the stone in vertical circle. After some time, let us suppose after time t, the stone, instead of being here, I have pulled it to this position. The stone has reached this position. And why has the stone reached another position? Because I am revolving it. I have revolved the stone in a vertical plane, and hence the stone which was initially here has now reached in this position, to this new position. The stone is in this new position, and in this position the string has described an angular displacement theta. The string has made an angular displacement theta. Initially we know the stone was here, the string was here, this was its position number 1, and this is the position number 2 of the stone. The string was here but in vertically downward direction. Now the string has reached another direction. Okay, so the stone has moved from point 1 to position 1 to position 2, and angular displacement is theta. Now see what various forces are acting upon by the on the stone. In this position we know weight है कि मानता नहीं, it will always act in a vertically downward direction. The weight of the stone is acting in the vertically downward direction. And how do we calculate weight? What is the formula for weight? Weight, mass multiplied by acceleration due to gravity. So this is the mg is the weight of the stone in this displaced position. And another thing, if I extend this line, we see that an angle is made theta, an angle theta is made here, which is equal to the original angular displacement of the stone. These two angles are equal in measure because these are corresponding angles. We can see that this line and this line, these two lines are parallel. This line will behave as a transversal, and these two are corresponding angles. So here the angular displacement is theta. This theta is equal to the previous this theta. And now see what will happen. This is mg. This side, if I make another component of this mg, we can divide mg. We can resolve this mg into two perpendicular components, and we are habituated to doing it. We are doing it again and again. So in this displaced position, we know wherever we find theta, towards that side we have hypotenuse cos theta. So if I do some construction work like this, we know this will be theta, this will be 90 degrees, and this side will be cos theta. We have already studied it, so I do not need to explain it again and again. And this side will behave as this side will be mg sin theta. But in this particular derivation, we do not need mg sin theta, so I will erase it. There are two perpendicular components. One is mg cos theta and the other is mg sin theta. But we need only mg cos theta because our derivation needs only this one. So how much in this displaced position, the mg is acting in a vertically downward direction. Mg cos theta is acting in this way. And if I am revolving the stone in a vertical plane, in which particular direction will the centrifugal force act? The centrifugal force will act in this direction, along the radius, away from the center of the circle. So which forces are acting in this direction? How much total force is acting on the stone in this direction? Here, in this direction. How much total force is acting? And how much is the tension on the string? How much is the tightness on the string? When I revolve the stone in a vertical circle, mg cos theta is pulling the string in this direction. Apart from it, mv square by r, which is centrifugal force, is also pulling the string in this direction. Understood? So we can write tension on the string in this displaced position is equal to mv square by r. Tension is nothing but force, tightness, and this tightness is due to the force exerted by centrifugal force as well as mg cos theta, which is the component of the weight. So mv square by r plus mg cos theta. Is there any doubt? Is there any difficulty? Have you understood it? See, if the stone is in this position, let me use a red colored pen to show to you. In this position, how many forces are acting on the string? Two forces. Which two forces? One is mg cos theta. Mg is acting here, so mg cos theta is acting in this position, in this direction. And mv square by r, which is centrifugal force, also is acting in this direction. Instead of mv square by r, we can write mr omega square also. So this is the tension in the string at any position. At any position. Tension in the string at any position is given by mv square by r plus mg cos theta. When the string was here, how much total force acted on it? Suppose it is revolving, it goes like this to this position. This position, it goes up, it comes here. Again, in the second round, it comes here. So in this position, tension at the lowest point will be mv square by r plus mg cos 0. Mg cos 0 degrees. You know why I have written 0 degrees? So let us suppose it has not made any revolution. The string is initially here. It is yet to complete. It is yet to describe any angular displacement. It has not covered any angular displacement. When the string is in this position, how much total force will act on the string? Centrifugal force mv square by r plus mg cos theta. Okay. And again, if it has completed one revolution, it will be 2 pi, and that will again be 1. So mv square by r plus mg cos 0, and how much is cos 0? 1. So total tension on the string at the lowest position will be mv square by r plus mg. This is the formula for tension in the string at the lowest position. Tension in the string at the lowest position. What is tension? Tightness, stretch. Stretch in the string at the lowest position will be centrifugal force added to weight of the stone in vertically downward direction. So in this position, tension at the lowest point will be mv square by r plus mg. And why only mg? Why not mg cos theta? Because theta is 0, so mg cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. Now let us suppose after some time the string has gone to the middle position. Earlier it was the lowest position, and now while revolving around a particular point, the stone has reached this position. Let us call this position as the middle position. How much is the angular displacement at this position? 90 degrees or pi by 2 radian. How much will be the tension here in the string? We know tension acts towards the center, and centrifugal forces acting in it away from the center of the circle. Tension in the string at the middle position will be equal to mv square by r plus mg cos theta. Our general formula for tension at any position. So we can write tension at the middle position is equal to mv square by r plus mg cos 90. How much is the angular displacement of the stone at this position, at the middle position? 90 degrees. Therefore, so we can write mg cos 90, and how much is cos 90? 0. So the tension in the string at the middle position will be only mv square by r. There is no role of the gravitational force here. The weight of the stone will not play any role here. The string has tension only because of centrifugal force. What is this mv square by r? This is centrifugal force. Centrifugal force. And what is this mg cos theta? Component of weight. Component of weight. Even if you can't see it, even if you can't see it, still there is no need of it. We don't need to write it. Centrifugal force is mv square by r, and mg cos theta is component of weight. So when the stone is in the middle position, how much tension will be there in the string? Tension at the middle position will be mv square by r only. Mg cos 90. Cos 90 is 0, so that term mg cos 90 will become 0. And suppose after some time the stone moves up and reaches here at the topmost position, at the highest position. Let me denote the tension in the string at the highest position by Th. If the string is at the highest position, if the stone is at the highest position, how much tension will be there in the string? We know centrifugal force is pulling in the upward direction, and weight of the stone will pull the stone in the vertically downward direction. Centrifugal force will pull it up and weight will pull it down. So tension in the string will be less here. So tension in the string at the highest position will be mv square by r plus mg cos. How much is the angle with respect to the vertical downward? So this angle will be 180 degrees. So it becomes mv square by r plus mg cos 180 degrees. And how much is cos 180 degree? This is tension at the highest position will be mv square by r plus mg. And do you know cos 180 is minus 1? So it becomes mv square by r minus mg. This is the tension in the string at the highest position. Where do you find the tension to be maximum? Is the tension maximum at the lowest position, or is it maximum at the highest position? So we can see the tension in the string is maximum at the lowest position. It's centrifugal force plus weight of the stone. At the middle position, it's only the centrifugal force. The weight is not playing any role here because weight acts in the vertically downward direction. At the highest position, centrifugal force is pulling it in the upward direction, because we know centrifugal force is a force acting on a particle performing circular motion which acts along the radius away from the center of the circle, and the weight of the stone is acting in a vertically downward direction, so there will be subtraction. Centrifugal force is greater and weight is lesser, so we will that's why the stone is able to complete the circle. Understood it? So this derivation may be asked for 3 marks. The question may be derive expressions for tension in the string, minimum tension in the string at the lowest position, at the middle position, and at the highest position. So let's write down things in a proper manner. How much is the tension at the lowest position? mv square by r added to mg. Tension at the middle position is mv square by r only. Tension at the lowest position will tension at the highest position will be mv square by r minus mg. Understood? Alright. Note these down. It's a very easy derivation. We'll study another derivation after it. Complete it first. What is TL? Do I need to write down? TL is tension in the string, tension, or I can write it as force in the string, tension in the string at the lowest position of the stone, at the lowest position of the stone or object we should write. It will not be a stone every time. Tm is tension in the string, tension in the string at the middle position, at the middle position, and Th is the tension in the string, tension in the string at the highest position. What is m? Mass of the object. What is r? Radius of the string. What is g? Acceleration due to gravity. And what is v? V is the linear velocity of the stone. Note down. Make fair notes. Do not waste time. Study every day. You have plenty of time. In fact, you should start studying English and Hindi also at home because you have plenty of time. Physics, chemistry, maths and bio will be done in the tuition. But you have to study English and Hindi at home. Make the best use of time. Alright, done. Th is tension in the string at the lowest position, Tm is the tension in the string at the middle position, Th is the tension in the string at the highest position. Can you tell me why the water in a bucket doesn't fall even if it is at the highest position? Suppose I have a bucket and I am revolving the bucket in a vertical plane. This is a bucket handle. The bucket is moving like this. The bucket is moving like this and it has water in it. The bucket has WATER, water, and M is the mass of water in the bucket. Let us neglect the mass of the bucket. I am revolving. I have filled a bucket half. I have half filled a bucket, and I am revolving the bucket in a vertical plane, in a vertical circle, and I am revolving the bucket in a with a very fast speed. Even at the highest position, the water should spill down, SPILL, spill, fall down, but the water doesn't fall down. Can you tell me why? Yes, very good. It is because of the centrifugal force. How much is the centrifugal force? mv square by r. And the weight of the water will be acting in the vertically downward direction. So how much we can say? In the limiting case, it depends on speed. If I am revolving the bucket around myself with a very slow speed, the water will fall down. But if I increase the speed of rotation, if I increase the speed v, the increase in speed will cause increase in centrifugal force. And if the centrifugal force increases, it will balance. A time will come when the centrifugal force will be just exactly equal to the weight of the water, and at that time water will not fall down. I can write centrifugal force CFF is equal to weight of water and weight of water is mg. Here we can cancel the two ends on both the sides. We get v square is equal to rg. V is equal to square root of rg. Means if the speed at the topmost position, this is vh, the speed will not remain the same. At the highest position, the speed will be minimum. And when the bucket comes here, the speed will increase due to gravitational force. Here the speed will be maximum at the lowest position, and here again the speed will start decreasing, it will go on decreasing, and the speed will be minimum at the highest position. So this is VH. VH is the minimum speed at the highest position, and this is the speed at which centrifugal force is equal to the weight of the water. Means the water wants to come down. Centrifugal force says, do not, oh water, do not fall down. Let us balance each other, and both will be equal in magnitude and opposite in directions, and the water will not fall down. Understood? So for that, how much should be the minimum velocity? If you tell me, Ansar sir, the water should not fall down, revolve the bucket in a vertical circle, so I will measure the radius of the string. Let this be the radius, average radius, we will neglect other things. Let R be the radius of the string, G be acceleration due to gravity. I will put them into square root and I will multiply them. Then I will find out the minimum velocity. And if you say the water should not fall down, I will revolve the bucket in such a way that at the highest position the minimum velocity will be either this or it will be greater than this value. If the velocity is greater, it's okay, it's well and good. But if the velocity is less than this velocity, then what will happen? If mg becomes greater, then velocity will be, see, if I write mv square by r, centrifugal force becomes less and weight becomes more, then what will happen? These two will get cancelled and v square will be less than rg, or v will be less than root rg. If velocity at the highest position will be less than rg, root rg, if velocity at the highest position will be less than root rg, then we know when does this condition take place? When does this happen? When weight becomes greater and centrifugal force becomes lesser. Then weight will be greater, water will spill down, water will fall down. If velocity at the highest position is less than root rg, then water will fall down. And if the velocity is either equal to or greater than, then the water will not fall down. Understood? So what is the formula for minimum velocity at the topmost position? Yes, I will write it down. If we want that water should not spill down, or the object should complete the circle, the object should complete the circle, then tension at the highest position, then tension in the string at the highest position, then tension in the string at the highest position should be either 0 or greater than 0. If tension is 0, what does that mean? If tension is 0, then tension at the highest will be equal to mv square by r minus mg. We know what is the formula for tension at the highest position? mv square by r minus mg. So if tension becomes 0, or we should write it greater than or equal to 0. So if it is 0, let us suppose is equal to, then it will be mv square by r minus mg. Or if we bring mg here, it will become mg is mv square by r. Mm will get cancelled and we can write v square is equal to rg, or v is equal to root rg. Okay. In this position, centrifugal force will be equal to, tension is equal to 0. What does it mean? Centrifugal force CFF should be equal or greater than, should be either equal to, centrifugal force should be either equal to or greater than mg. Wait, understood this how much should be the velocity at the highest position? If we want that it should complete the vertical circle, it should be square root of VH I am writing. It should be square root of RG. What does this mean? If I am revolving the stone, if I am taking it upwards, it's going upward, it's going up, and if the velocity is less than root RG, if the velocity is less than root RG, then object will not be able to, then the object will not rise up and complete the circle. It will fall back. It will fall back. This will happen. If the velocity, minimum velocity here is less than root RG, then the object will rise up, and it will go back again. So it should be either equal to or greater than. Velocity at the topmost position should be. This is wrong. This is wrong means if velocity at the highest position is less than root RG, then the object will not be able to complete the circle. And the same thing happens when I was a young guy. I wanted to learn. I am not very old today also. So when I was learning to drive a car, at that time I went to a place and I found a speed breaker ahead of me. There was a speed breaker like this, and this was my car. This was my car. I was sitting in the car, I was driving it, and Ejaz sir was sitting just beside me. So he said, "Slow down, Ansar sir, slow down the car. Brother, slow down the car because there is a breaker ahead." So I slowed down the car, and slowly the car moved up to this position. And then what happened? Do you know? The car, instead of going towards the right hand side, instead of crossing the speed breaker, it came back again. The car came back again. What could be the reason? Could you tell me? Yes, the reason was that minimum velocity at the topmost position should have been top. This was a speed breaker. Speed breaker. It should have been root RG. So, do you know what I should have done at that time? I should have got down from the car. I should have measured the radius of the speed breaker. I should have multiplied it by 9.8 nearly. So, R multiplied by 9.8. I should have taken out the square root. Then I should have sat back in the car, and then again I should have tried with this velocity. Then the car would have passed over the speed breaker and would not have come back. Understood? So while designing a speed breaker also, they decide what particular minimum velocity should be there at the topmost position, so that we should be able to go to the other side. Understood? And why do you think that, let us first study this much only. Understood the speed breakers example? If you want to go here, your minimum velocity should be root RG. Minimum velocity should be root RG. If your velocity is greater than that, it's very good. But it should not be too great, otherwise you will suffer an accident. So if we want that, I have a video. I am trying to merge the video to our video lecture, but our video is consuming so many GBs that it takes a lot of time to join a video to our lecture. Otherwise, I wanted to show you a video in which there is a person whose name I don't remember. That he is a bald person. He runs very fast. He runs very fast, and his velocity, he runs like this. He runs like this. he comes here at the topmost position. His velocity is equal to or greater than root rg at the highest position, and he walks, he completes the circle. That guy is, I think, an American guy. He is an expert in doing such stunts. So he runs very fast, and he has decided how much velocity he should have at the highest position. He knows that this is the radius, and he has calculated, he knows how much the value of g is. He puts the product of r and g in the square root, finds out the velocity, and he runs very fast, and he is able to walk on the inner side of a pipe. What is it? It is a hollow pipe, a big pipe having a large diameter. So in that pipe he walks, and he does not fall down even at the highest position. And the same thing takes place in a globe of death. Have you ever seen a person riding in a globe of death? It is globe of death. In Hindi, people call it maut ka kuwa. Here globe, but people call it kuwa. So kuwa, in Hindi. So it's globe of death. What happens? There is a biker here. There is a person who is riding on a bike. My drawing is not very good. You have to imagine. There is a person. He is riding on a bike, and he rides on the bike. He goes up, all the way up, and he does not fall down. He does not fall down. No. Why? Because his velocity at the topmost position is greater than root rg. Either equal to or greater than root rg. That's why the person does not fall down, he moves up. So always remember, whenever we want to complete a circle, vertical circle, at the topmost position, the velocity should be either root rg or greater than root rg. This is the condition. Otherwise, we will not be able to complete the circle. If this person does not have enough velocity, he will just go up, and he will fall down, or he will slip back. Understood? Alright. So it's, I think, the time to stop here. Otherwise, actually I wanted to complete the derivation. We have found the velocity at the highest position. We are yet to find the velocity at the middle position and at the lowest position also. We will find those in the next lecture. Have a nice time.